Whether it's something that makes you go, or it's an all-out deal breaker, we're talking mannerisms that may seem funny or quirky or maybe even cute until they're not. Dating coach and luxury matchmaker Katy Clark is here with advice on how to deal with icks. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, when it comes to dating and relationships, let's talk about what exactly an ick is.
I mean, it's like what we just saw on Seinfeld, the king of relationships, right? It's that thing that somebody does that maybe they don't even realize it or even mean to or can't help. And it's just a turnoff.
Yes.
It's just that sexy factor just went down fast.
It just goes right away.
down.
Okay, so what do you think are some most common icks?
Well, and we've talked about this. I mean, one is body odor. I mean, that's rough, but it's fixable.
Yes.
Bad breath is going to be an ick. Even bad food manners, like if you're out and about and they're chopping, holding forks incorrectly.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say even too, bad style. Like always wearing dirty socks or kind of brownish white socks that don't look clean, things like that. And let's fix them. It's not that hard.
It is not that hard, and you are too old to have body odor, okay? Listen, we know where the deodorant is in the grocery store. All you got to do is pick it up and put it on. Now, tell me what causes those icks, or maybe how do we notice them?
Well, the first thing we need to do is make sure that chemistry in the beginning of a relationship isn't making it so that we're missing the icks, right? Oftentimes people run into that honeymoon phase and this is so great, and they don't even recognize the parts that need to be noticed that are really could be deal breakers later.
Yeah. Okay, so how long do you think it takes to catch the ick? Is there a certain timeline on it?
Well, I have this timeline. I call it the 3-3-3 rule, and it's 3 dates, 3 weeks, 3 months. And literally by 3 months, you probably have caught a few of those icks. Maybe not all of them, but enough to bring it into a conversation, or even you'll probably end up telling your girlfriends.
Yes.
Like, girl, what do you think of this?
He's already made it into the group chat. We're already talking about you.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you do if you've now caught the ick? Is there a way to get rid of it?
Yes, it's called kind communication. I mean, whatever that ick is, once you tell them, they're probably a little bit embarrassed.
Yes.
So if you just kindly bring it up, and I always say, out of a relationship, you should love 80% of that person and be like, yes, that part is so great. Of the 20% left over, 10% you probably can't change, but 10% you can hope that they will learn and grow from kind suggestions, you know, kind communication. Hey, you know, you do this sometimes. You know, it's not the cutest thing, but I love it when you do this instead.
Right. Let's maybe work on it together. Let me teach you how to use a fork. Okay, so you talked about how to confront them, but going into, I guess it's kind of hard to tell someone that you're breathing hard. Breathe less. You know what I mean?
Right. But you know, if you reverse it into a positive, like I just love it when you are just sitting next to me quietly and it just sounds so romantic. Maybe things like that, or maybe they have a nasal issue and it's more of a doctor issue, then maybe you need to help them bring it into a suggestion and say, hey babe, I've noticed that you've been breathing heavy lately. So maybe don't make it such a long-term thing, like just lately.
That's a good way to actually look at it. And I think also once you're in that position, and maybe it does have something to do with maybe like a health reason, then we can kind of look internally to ourselves and say, does this really bother me that much, you know? Okay, so what should you look for in your next serious relationship? Whether you've had past icks, do you look forward and say, okay, I'm not gonna date a man who snores, even though they probably can't control that.
What red flags can we look for?
Yeah.
Well, number one, I would say anything that's messy. If you notice their clothing is messy, their car is messy, it probably means they're a little bit messy inside as well.
Yeah.
Also look at their hygiene. I mean, we can notice those details. Their teeth, their hair.
Fingernails.
I mean, everything, right? And by the way, women notice men's fingernails quite often. So guys, get on that, right?
A manicure is not feminine, honey, okay? A nice manicure, do you good.
And anything excessive. So when you see someone who always wants to have fun, they probably are excessive in other areas of their life. And those are things that we need to watch for.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like we're talking about a lot of icks that men do. But do you know any icks of like women that maybe men get of women?
I was thinking about that earlier. And often when we are always playing with our hair, consistently pulling it up, I mean, it could be cute on a first date, right? Doing one of these.
Yeah.
But when she's always doing this all around town, it could get a little much, ladies.
Or if we're taking too long to maybe get ready.
Yes.
Maybe we time out better and start a bit earlier so that we finish at the same time. Okay, so today we're asking our viewers what ick bothers them the most. And those are the choices there on the screen. We have breathing hard, smacking their food, not flushing the toilet, flatulence, and snoring, which snoring has a lot, low-key. Which one do you think would bother you the most?
I mean, snoring, but the sad truth is that it's not something you can really change. I mean, nobody wants to do the Lucy and Desi 2 beds.
Yes. You know what? Maybe we can get them a CPAP machine.
But that's not sexy either.
That is not sexy.
Maybe that's just part of that 10% you just need to accept.
You just have to deal with.
Everything else is so great about them.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you?
You know, you can find me at Dating with Katy, and that's Katy, or Sync Matchmaking, and CINQE.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Always.
All right. We will keep you posted throughout the entire show about our poll, but don't forget to vote. What is your relationship?